Hello and welcome to my channel, Married to Autism. I really want to put this out there. This channel is not about hating on autism and talking about how crap and bad the people are or anything like that. It's purely just to talk about primarily my own marriage and the struggles that I face with regards to my partner being on the spectrum. My challenges and issues won't be the same for everyone. Some people will be able to relate to some of it and not to others. But it's not to say that all autistic people suck, even though I made that humorous joke about, the thumbnail about autism ruins everything. I really don't believe that. And even in my own marriage, there are plenty of things my husband brings to the table that are good. He's not ruining everything. Just getting in the way of a lot of things. And one of the main reasons that I wanted to make this channel is because people didn't understand what was going on. Those that knew what was going on, such as really close friends who I'd talked to, believed me. They believed that it was as bad as I said. But they couldn't understand why it was happening. And they couldn't understand why I was staying. Then there was another group of people who kind of knew something was going on, but didn't really understand the extent and the gravity of it, or the effects that it was having on me. And they would see the effects it was having on me and not understand why I was the way that I am. And I've had a lot of people remove themselves from my life because of that. Even really close friends of mine have gotten very annoyed with me because I've stayed and start to keep their distance. It's just one of the fallouts from these types of situations. So obviously I talk about a number of terrible and bad and awful things that have happened throughout the relationship and all the myriad of ways that I've tried to cope with these things, all the different things that I've tried to manage it and things. And what I'm noticing out in the sphere is that there's this kind of rhetoric that neurotypical people suck because we're not giving autistic people a chance, we're not understanding them, we're bullying them, we're rude to them. And I can see how things like that are relevant. That is their lived experience. There's a channel called Bumpity Boo, a young boy talking about his life. He doesn't say that he's autistic, or maybe he alludes to it in one of his videos, but we all know that he is. And he cops a lot of flack from people who are watching because they don't understand. And people are just cruel and senseless. Anyway, so I know that autistic people really do cop a lot of flack. They're really quite bullied. And from their lived experience, they would be thinking it's a neurotypical world and neurotypicals are making their life hell. But that's the other reason why I wanted to make these videos, because I wanted to give the other side of the story. In my case with my husband, my being neurotypical is not what makes his life hell, if indeed his life is hell, which I don't think that it is. I'm not particularly doing anything to him because I'm neurotypical. We just have these particular struggles, and a lot of them are because he's on the spectrum, and there's all these different nuances behind the scenes that make it so. And it's really frustrating from a neurotypical perspective because if I use my husband and my son as examples, plus the myriad of friends that I have whose partners are also on the spectrum, not a single one of them has searched up or learned about what it is to be autistic. Now, obviously, that doesn't include every autistic in the world because there are plenty out there researching, learning, trying to learn what makes themselves tick and all those kinds of things. It just so happens that the people in my world, no, they haven't tried to find out anything about themselves. So when I'm in a situation where the autistic people are saying neurotypical people suck because we're not learning anything about them and being understanding XYZ, My lived experience is the absolute opposite. I'm the one doing all the learning. I'm the one doing all the educating. I'm the one doing all of the, what is it when you change everything about your life to suit them and make sure that they're happy and safe and well? I'm doing that. Whereas they're not learning about what it's like to be neurotypical, how it is that they could best work around and make my life a little bit better or easier. I'm the one trying to placate them and make their world happy and easier. And as I say, obviously there are plenty of autistic people who are learning this. I would really love to know statistics. I'd love to know how many autistic people believe that they are versus how many who are on the spectrum don't. How many of them research what it is to be autistic and how many don't? How many research what it is to be neurotypical and how many don't? How many research how it is that they could better their relationships versus those that don't? And on the flip side, how many neurotypicals are learning how to better their relationships versus those who are in relationships with autistic people who aren't? I mean, not to mention there's an entire world out there with bunches of people who are mentally unwell, who do no research about anything to make their lives or those around them better. So there's also that aspect of living. But yeah, I really just wanted to point it out that I really don't hate autistic people. That's not what this channel is about. Even if I have some awful videos talking about all the awful things my partner has done, and even if I make the odd sarcastic joke or the odd I nearly said A-R-S-E then. And the odd sarcastic sort of thumbnail and things like that. This channel really is not about hating on autistic people. I might be having a hard time. You might be having a hard time. We all might be having a hard time. But it's really just about explaining to those who are curious to know what it's like being in a relationship with somebody on the spectrum. My videos sum it up quite well. It's really quite difficult. There's a lot of loneliness. There's a lot of emptiness that people can't fathom. There's a lot of people who grow distant because of the situation that you're in. There's a lot of people who watch you going through the world looking at you like you're sad sack Sally and just do not understand how you got there. And even less people who understand how to help. And that, I think, is actually one of my biggest struggles, which I'll make a video about later on. But because so little is understood about autism in general, and we're really just starting to scratch the surface now, because so little is understood, even less is understood about what it's like being in a relationship with somebody where you have to just do all of these magical adaptations to try to make it work. So even a small adaptation like me finding out that my husband feels overwhelmed when he gets home from work. Now, he doesn't know that he feels overwhelmed. He's feeling it. Like he's walking in and he's feeling overwhelmed, but he doesn't actually know. I'm feeling overwhelmed because he just walks in the door like a hurricane because life was difficult and now he's home and he can decompress. Now I know, run for the hills. Don't be at the door when he comes home. Try to give him some space. Try to have as much in place as possible around the house that won't trigger him so that he can feel calm. And he doesn't even know that I'm doing that. He's not aware that I'm trying to put all these things in place so that when he comes home, he can decompress quietly and nicely. And that's just one example of one of the issues that I face being in a relationship with him who's not researching about himself, whereas I'm researching about it and learning about him and trying to make his world a good and safe place for him, a happy place where he can feel comfortable. And I think for the most part, I've done reasonably well. I think the fact that we're in a relatively good space right now, that we're at least kind of getting along and doing things together and stuff, means that what I've been doing is helping and working. And so we might do something like watch Netflix together on a day that's convenient for him. He'll usually come up to me and say, "What movie are we watching tonight?" And I've already picked in my list, and this is another thing that I do. I know the types of shows that he likes, and I know the ones that he doesn't like. So I'll put them in the list. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I know he likes those particular types of shows. So when he comes up to me and says, "What movies shall we watch tonight?" he's got a selection to choose from. And I'll put them in the list if I know he will like them and I will like them. If it's a movie that I really don't like, I won't put it in my list. And if it's a movie that he really doesn't like, or with an actress or actor that he doesn't like, it doesn't go in the list. And so that's one of the many ways that I sort of adjust, life for him. But there are plenty of times where he's off doing his own thing and I'm doing my own thing. And then we have those little come together moments that I've worked very hard to make happen. And even I would say that he's worked quite hard, especially going to the counsellors and things with me. I can't say that he's not put in any effort. He certainly is. And even with regards to his aggro and him calming down, that's definitely on him. I fought and rumbled and grumbled and did everything in my power to make him stop yelling and be angry. But I'm pretty sure that I was relatively ineffective until the counsellor came along and said, "Don't do that, you'll lose her." And so now he's trying to catch himself, So I guess the two of us are working at trying to make this work. Anyway, that's just a little side note of the types of things that we're doing. But yeah, I just wanted to put this out there. I don't hate autistic people. This is not a hate autistic people channel. This is not an all autistic people suck channel. This is not a get back in the corner and be quiet channel. I like to hear from all perspectives. And maybe there's things that autistic people, if they ever watch my videos, might learn, might understand, maybe not. But I just want to put it out there so that the general population gets what it's like being in a relationship with somebody who has mental difficulties, around showing emotion and affection and love and stuff. Anyway, over to you. Feel free to comment below. Love to hear from you, and thank you for taking the time to watch this channel. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to show me some love by subscribing, please do.